welcome to another episode of the Elevated Beauty Podcast. I'm your host, Emily Fouts, owner of Elevated Beauty Aesthetics, located in Sierra Vista, Arizona. And today we're going to be talking all about vitamin A, aka the retinoid family. So if that's something that you want more information on, want to hear my opinion on it and my approach to it, then just keep on listening. Okay, so vitamin A, the class of retinoids. Vitamin A actually naturally exists in our bodies, and it is something, Jesus Christ, I just ate a little chocolate, what are they called? The Good Man bars, good something, I don't know, but it has the peanuts in it, and that just went down my throat the wrong way. I know it's not called the Good Man bar. I'm gonna have to pause this and see what the heck it's called. But anyways, okay, back to what we were talking about, vitamin A. So when I was a baby esthetician, I didn't know a lot about vitamin A. I just knew like retinol is what older women use because they need that increase in their cellular turnover. That's so not true. It is and it isn't. It's not just for mature skin. It definitely is not. Everyone can benefit from this, young and old skin. You know, once we reach the age of 25, we start to produce 1% less collagen each year, and our cellular turnover rate slows down. So once you reach the age of 25, I definitely like to introduce vitamin A. And so it helps with cellular proliferation, but it's also antioxidant, and it's a tyrosinase inhibitor as well. So vitamin A is amazing. And I'm going to share, I made a few tweets on vitamin A, and I'm not going to mention who it was that made me, encouraged me to put out this information, but it was a skinfluencer on Twitter, and she was like, if your product has retinol palmitate in it, go ahead and don't expect any results because it's a weak derivative. And yes, it is weaker. It's part of the esters. But just because it's weaker doesn't mean it's not going to deliver you results. So I'll go ahead and read the tweets, and then I'll kind of go throughout the conversion rates and the different forms of vitamin A. So this is a series of four tweets that I made. So I said, vitamin A is so interesting and not well enough understood. Many people think you need a strong form to get results, and that's just not true. Every form goes through a metabolic pathway to convert to retinoic acid, the highest form of vitamin A. While higher forms do deliver great cellular regenerative benefits and are sought after, the oil-soluble forms are still very much needed, and here's why. Oil-soluble forms, retinol esters, primarily retinol palmitate, are the only form that can be stored in the nucleus of our cells. This means that while higher forms of vitamin A are getting depleted throughout the day, it only takes 15 minutes of sun exposure to begin to deplete retinoic acid. The oil-soluble forms are being housed in our cells for storage and used to protect from free radical damage. The fact that these ester forms don't make you photosensitive, but actually are photoprotective, means that we can use them during the daylight hours, while higher forms can only be used at night. We need a constant storage of vitamin A in multiple forms to properly preserve. Okay, so I do I kind of separate this in portions, and I just went and looked, and they're not called Mr. Goodman bars, they're called Mr. Good bars. Okay, so I just had to put that in there. There are different forms of vitamin A, and they all convert in the end to retinoic acid, which is the strongest form. So I kind of, you separate them into four categories. We have retinol esters, which are oil-soluble forms, which means that our skin accepts them the most easily. They're the weakest in the retinoid family. They have a 3-conversion step to retinoic acid. And so those are retinol palmitate, retinol acetate, retinol linoleate. My preferred is retinol palmitate. And so these, what they do is they don't deliver you as strong results. This is a starter. And when you approach vitamin A, you kind of want to build yourself up. And this, since it is a weaker form, like I said in my tweet, you can use it in the daylight hours because it does not make you photosensitive. It actually is photoprotective. It is shown in studies to give an effect equal to SPF 20. So it is gentle for most skin types. I love to recommend vitamin A, like I said, if anyone is age 25 or over, even if you don't have skin concerns right now, it's protective, it's preventative. So like I said, vitamin A is an antioxidant. So retinol palmitate, oil soluble form, retinol ester, weak form, not photosensitive. You can use it in a daytime moisturizer. And what it does is it enters the nucleus of your cell, so that if you do use, say, a higher form, you use a retinol cream at night, the sun is going to deplete the retinol that has been absorbed into your skin. It only takes 15 minutes of sun exposure to start to deplete that. And so even though it offers antioxidant property, that's depleted after a period of time. And so your body is going to use the retinol palmitate, the ester form, the oil-soluble form that is housed in your cells for protection. So we're using it for protective purposes, not directly for the known result that the class of retinoids give you, which is kind of like a Botox look. It gives you smoother, plumper, younger looking skin, smooth skin. So that's not what you would reach for with the lower ester forms. You would use them for protective purposes, and also as a weaker introductory form to vitamin A if you are starting out. Okay, so we have the retinol esters, the oil-soluble forms. Then we have retinol. This you will experience like a slight moderate irritation when you start to use it, and I always recommend to my clients, like I said, you kind of build up a tolerance to it. You'll use it every third night, and this is a coined term from Dr. Whitney Bowe called skin cycling. I did an episode earlier about skin cycling, an ideal routine order. So skin cycling is where you use your products in kind of like a cycled order. So you'll do an exfoliation night. You know, I always recommend my clients, you need to exfoliate once a week. So you'll do an exfoliation night, recovery night, retinoid night, recovery, and so on. So you cycle it that way, you space it in between. So when you're using a retinol, you want to use it one night, give yourself 2 rest nights, then use it again until you build yourself up a little bit of tolerance to it. I personally, even though I have a tolerance to it, I don't use retinol every night. I use it every other night. Personally, I don't know. I just think using retinol every night is a little much at the age that I'm at right now. I will build myself up once I am a little bit older. My skin is a little more mature to probably every night. Who knows? You just kind of, after a while of doing skincare, you know what your skin feels like. You know when, or I know when I need that cellular renewal, and my skin just doesn't need retinol every night. So I still just do every other night. Okay, anyways, retinol has a 2 conversion step to retinoic acid. It is higher strength than the esters. It's more potent and can give better results. So what that means is it gives those desired results that you're looking for when people typically think of a retinoid. So you get generally more visible results compared to the esters. And every increasing order of potency is also irritation. So that's something important to know. Just because someone says that you're not going to get results from the ester form doesn't mean that you shouldn't start there. You most certainly should. And you need to make sure before introducing vitamin A or any active skincare ingredient like this that you have a healthy lipid barrier. Because if you don't have a healthy moisture barrier, it's just going to not be great for your skin because you don't have that protection in place. So, okay, we have the retinol esters, retinaldehyde. So this is a 1 conversion step to retinoic acid. You may experience slight moderate irritation, and it is most potent, effective form of over-the-counter retinoids. This is the highest that you can get without a prescription. I personally do not retail any products with retinaldehyde in it. I retail products with retinol palmitate and retinol. I just don't think that it is necessary to achieve results, but, if people have built themselves up to that and they're seeing the results that they want, then more power to you, and keep on using your retinaldehyde. Okay, so retinoic acid, you can only get this in prescription form. It is generally more irritating than any other over-the-counter retinoids. It's already in the active form, so like tretinoin, if you have that from your dermatologist, that's what it is. It has the most evidence in terms of results and effectiveness. So this is my thing with retinoic acid, tretinoin, prescription retinoids. Of course, a dermatologist's general approach to skincare is results as quick as possible, and it doesn't matter the route that you're getting there. And I mean, a lot of people just don't have the information that they need to be using these products, and then it ends up doing more harm than good. So I usually see people that have tretinoin, and they either overuse it, and then their skin is thin, their lipid barrier is compromised, they have some irritation going on, or they don't know how to use it, so they don't use it, or they use it inconsistently, and so they're still experiencing these skin concerns. Now, I'm not against like the pure form of retinoic acid, tretinoin, if you need it. Now, I don't think that many people need it unless you have like hyperkeratosis or an aggressive form potentially of acne, which I just don't think it's necessary. I don't think that people need that aggressive of a form, but I know there are some people who use it, and they use it like they're supposed to, which is like twice a week, use it consistently, but like I said, a lot of people are misinformed, and so it just doesn't get used correctly, and so there's generally more harm than good. But besides that, it delivers those results really quick because it doesn't have to go through those other conversion rates. A little bit more on what retinoids actually do besides the different conversion rates and effectiveness there. So retinoids are made from vitamin A, of course, and so what they don't do is they don't remove dead skin cells like alpha hydroxy acids do. So they break the bonds between dead skin cells, exfoliate chemically on the outermost layer of your skin, AHAs do. And so vitamin A does not work that way. What it does is it has small molecules that make the vitamin A, it goes deep beneath the epidermis, the outermost layer of our skin, to our dermis. So it reaches our dermis. It works intrinsically. And so once it is in that dermal layer, it helps to neutralize free radicals, antioxidant property. It helps boost the production of fibroblast activity, so elastin, collagen fibers, which creates that plumping effect that reduces the appearance of the fine lines, wrinkles, enlarged pores. It also is used to help treat acne. One of my favorite products to use for acneic skin is a retinoid. And so it helps with mild to severe acne, and it helps with acne scarring. So not only fine lines, wrinkles, plumpness, but it helps with sun damage. It helps even the tone of your skin. It's even great for melasma. And like I said before, it doesn't work like an alpha hydroxy acid does, so you're not going to see immediate results for most over-the-counter retinoids, non-prescription. It may take a few weeks of continued use to see those results. So, it helps to treat acne, photo-damaged skin, reduce the signs of aging. So you definitely don't want to overuse it, but just be aware of kind of what form you have of it and when you can use it, AM and PM, and how often you should be using it determined on the strength of the form that you're using. So retinol, a lot of the times it is used in different percentages. I have seen good results in a 1%, and then I've also seen great results in a 5% retinol cream. So the one that I carry from Vit A Plus is 5%. That is a little more on the strong side compared to a lot of other cosmetic grade retinoid products have. So that is going to be one from Vit A Plus, the serum or the retinol cream. That is going to be one that you're going to want to use every second or third night, especially starting out. And so that is one that I use every other night in the PM. And again, retinol is photosensitive. The only ones that are not photosensitive are the retinol esters. So I do have a moisturizer that has retinol palmitate in it that I can use in the AM, and that is from a brand called Environ, and that is one that I'm considering bringing on. Not considering, I really do want to bring it on because Vit A Plus, they do have a product with retinol palmitate in it, but it also has glycolic acid. And so I do use it in the AM, sometimes like every other day, but I really just want a moisturizer that doesn't have an alpha hydroxy acid in it. So that is an option, the Environ one, and it's one that I really love, one that I've seen amazing results in. So I'm trying to get a not a medical director, but a medical affiliate, so that I can bring that line on, because it is a product brand that does require a medical affiliate or a medical director. So anyways, yeah, that is my preferred product for AM vitamin A protection. And lastly, it is important to know that retinoids are not for everyone. So a lot of controversy on whether or not it is safe to use it during pregnancy. Most anywhere that you see will say no, because there simply haven't been the studies done on it, because it's not ethical to submit pregnant women as, experiments to do that on. But I have seen other estheticians use retinoids while they're pregnant with no side effects. The same goes with like salicylic acid. So, there are some products that we know for sure that you're not supposed to use during pregnancy, and there are some where it's kind of like a gray area. I personally did not use retinoids whenever I was pregnant, and I don't advise my clients to, so I kind of mark that as not safe for pregnancy or breastfeeding, just because that's an unknown factor there. But if you are going to use it, I would definitely use a weaker form. I would use a retinol ester, use retinol palmitate, but of course that's to your own discretion. It is also not for anyone that is on Accutane. If you're on Accutane, you probably already know that you have to use very hydrating and sensitive products, and Accutane is a whole nother beast to do its own episode on, but obviously you can't use it on that. You need to be careful with vitamin A if you are diabetic. If you have an autoimmune disorder, definitely start out with those weaker forms if you are going to use it. But yeah, it is an amazing ingredient for many different skin concerns, and one of my favorite ones, so I thought that we needed to dedicate an episode to it and kind of inform you guys on the different conversion rates of it, and just note that just because it's an ester form doesn't mean that it's shitty, that it's not going to do anything for you. There are different benefits to the different forms, and some people need a weaker form, and some people benefit from a stronger form. It's all about where you're starting out and what type of skin you're dealing with. always, thank you guys so much for listening to me talk about vitamin A. Hopefully you learned something new. If you have any input on the topic, comment on this episode. I have a little comment box here on Spotify, or if you're listening on another platform, you can always comment on the episode post on Elevated Beauty Podcast. Let me know what your favorite retinoid is to use. So, I will see you guys next Monday. Maybe or maybe not 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. I haven't been uploading them on 8 a.m. For the past few weeks. But yeah, next Monday. I'll see you guys.